No, if you are alive and breathing,
That's
you
right.
can be you can be the target of a narcissist.
Yes. Particularly if you are a lover, if you are empathic in any nature, if you are someone who everyone is drawn to, if you're the problem solver, are you the helper and the nurturer? You are the target.
Welcome to this episode of Coffee and Coaching. I am Coach Michelamonè, your certified life professional and relationship. And we're at Coffee and Coaching at Night. And today we have a special guest that we're going to stir in the coffee with. That is Angel Simmons. She is the author of Target of Love, A Journey Back to Love's Design. And I'm super excited about that. But before we get to talking to Angel and really talking about are you the target of a narcissist? This is gonna be good, y'all. Y'all need to first of all share. Go ahead, click the share button, share it to your friends, share it to your groups, share it to your family, share it to your friends. Go ahead and send somebody an inbox, do something but share. Because why? I always say sharing is caring. It takes you to do anything. It doesn't cost you anything but to share. So just go ahead and share this, right? But before we go ahead and get started with Angel Simmons, author Angel Simmons today, let me tell y'all what kind of coffee I am drinking today. The flavor of the day is a Copper Moon coffee, and it's a Southern pecan. Now, some people say pecan, whatever. I like pecans, and especially in this tortellini butter pecan. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, this is very good. It is a medium roast, so it's not as bold as a lot of the coffees I've been drinking, but it tastes really good because I'm using that Italian sweet cream that I have been telling y'all about. So I'm really excited about this. So this is gonna help me get through some of this tea drinking, and it's gonna be coffee drinking when we talking to Angel Simmons about this narcissist personality disorder. So this is gonna be really, really good. First of all, I wanna let you all know, for you all who are new to coffee and coaching here at Coffee and Coaching, what we do is we stimulate, like coffee does, stimulate conversations to energize relationships. And we do that by bringing up conversations and topics that most people are not talking about. And if they do, then they're not talking about it like we are. So if you or anybody that you know that wants to be featured on here, you have something to do with relationships, you're in a great relationship, or you've been in a bad one, hit me up on Let's Talk at CoachMichelamonè.com so that we can get you featured on one of the shows on a Friday night of Coffee and Coaching at Night. Now, let me get a little bit of this coffee and tell y'all how it tastes. Hold on. It's good, y'all. I'm telling y'all. I think I'm the only one that can drink coffee and go to sleep. Maybe not, but maybe I'm exaggerating. Anyway, I can, right? So let's get on to Miss Angel Simmons. First, y'all are in for a treat, okay? This girl is amazing, okay? But let me tell you how amazing she is. Angel Simmons is a multi-talented artist from Chicago's South Side. She is an actress, a columnist, a model, a producer, a speaker, and storyteller. She's the author and blogger of Love's Great Design. She's the president and the CEO of The Message Inc. and the current Miss Illinois Elite for the United American Pageant. Angel is an advocate for suicide prevention, a certified grief and loss coach, and uses the arts to shed light on mental health and wellness. She is also the producer and host of the Versus Vibes and Visions quarterly live lit series. You can find that in Chicago. This girl is amazing. So let me bring her on out so that y'all can see how amazing that she really is. Welcome to the show, Angel Simmons.
Hey everybody.
Hey, girl.
Y'all in my house.
They in your house, right? All up in your personal space. I love it. Look, so outside of all these beautiful things I just read about Angel, of course, y'all know was the lead character in my play, my production, My Last Party as Charmaine as well. So the girl is doing a whole bunch of stuff. She all over the TV. Y'all go and look at some of those different shows that she done been on all over. I don't know half these shows, but she on TV. Okay, she everywhere.
You don't have time to watch TV. Don't worry about it.
Girl, I'm telling you, that's the only reason why I ain't seen you. But this is a woman that y'all need to know, and we're gonna talk about this stuff. Okay, so listen. First, I got a lot of questions for you, Angel, and I'm gonna get all up in your business a little bit. Okay. So the first thing I really want to know, target of love, a journey back to love's design.
Love's
right
great
there.
design.
Love's great design. I'm sorry. Love's great design. Sorry about that. The title in itself is something that makes you go, a target of love. People are like, oh yes, let me be a target. No, that ain't what this is, right? So tell us, first of all, let's start here because we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, Angel, what is narcissism?
Oh, narcissism can be defined as many things. Most popularly as egoism or self-centeredness, someone with an excessive admiration of themselves. So those are some of the basic definitions of narcissism. But there are so many other complex characteristics that goes into that. And just because someone is narcissistic doesn't necessarily mean they have narcissistic personality disorder, which we can, touch on in a minute or so.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us the difference between that. How does that? What's the difference? Because I hear this word being thrown up all around. Every time somebody's not doing what people think they should be doing, they'll throw the word around. So tell us the difference between the two.
Well, truth be told, we all have narcissistic tendencies.
Okay.
We have each known how to be selfish. We've known how to not care about what anybody else's think. We know how to be self-centered. We know what inflates our egos, especially as entrepreneurs, as creatives, as people in ministry, so many places where that ego comes into play. But we've all experienced having narcissistic tendencies or characteristics, but that doesn't necessarily mean someone has a disorder. A personality disorder is something that has to be diagnosed by a professional, by a mental health professional. And narcissistic personality disorder is one of the most difficult disorders to diagnose because people with NPD, they know how to evade the question. They know how to get around stereotyping. They know how to maneuver in conversations. They know how to say the right things at the right time to the right people so they can get the outcome that they want. So it's
Wow.
very difficult to diagnose someone with narcissistic personality disorder. It's actually one of very rare, probably 4 to 5% of
Wow.
people actually diagnosed with that personality disorder. But it's defined as having someone with having a long-term pattern of abnormal behavior. And it's characterized by all those other things: self-centeredness, egoist, someone with admiration of themselves, someone who wants to be admired. It is a requirement for you to admire them. It is a requirement. Understand that. They treat people not as people, but as objects. You are an object of their affection. You are an object of their attention right now, and you are responsible for inflating their egos.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
a very short, non-clinical answer for what this disorder looks like. But it also includes a lack of understanding for the feelings of others.
Mm.
So
Mm.
for some people, and for some people with NPD, it's that they don't understand, and for some, it's that they don't care.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there are actually 9 characteristics of someone who has the disorder. They have to fit 5 of those 9 qualities.
To
So,
be diagnosed.
and it can look very different for other people. Someone can have empathy and someone cannot, and they can still be diagnosed. So it's very different. And that was one of the things I think that stopped me in my study of this, is because I made the assumption that you couldn't have empathy. You could not
Mm.
be empathetic. That automatically made you a narcissist. But that's not the case. You can be diagnosed with NPD and be very empathetic,
Wow.
especially if it's going to get you the outcome you're looking for. So
Wow.
very
Wow.
different. It is a very broad spectrum, this
Okay.
disorder, and it looks like different things for different people.
Wow. That's really some good information, because a lot of people, like you said, we talked about them throwing the word around and them not really knowing exactly. So do you go into these 9 areas in your book?
I do.
Okay.
I won't
Okay.
go into them here, but I do go
Right.
into
We're not
them
going.
in the book so that people will at least know what to be aware of, and they can look at it and see if the person that they've been having these experiences with, if they fit, because everybody doesn't fit. And again, everybody who has narcissistic characteristics does not have the disorder. So that's also something to watch out for. We need to be very careful when we are typing people, not just
Yes.
stereotyping people, but typing people in general. We don't need to. We've been taught so much in our culture,
Mm-hmm.
particularly about how people have been mistreated. And when you get a bunch of people who've been mistreated to tell you what something looks like, it all starts to sound the same. But it's not.
Right.
It's not the same for everyone.
Right. That's good. Like Nina said, very good to know. This is good information.
Hey,
You all
Nina.
are sharing. Please share. Press the share button. Do a watch party. Make sure that you get somebody on here with you, and don't just watch it by yourself. Sharing is caring. We keep talking about that. This is a really important topic for a lot of people. Some people are in relationships that they can't get themselves out of because they're too busy trying to figure it out. And some of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to really be able to help these people. So, Angel, tell us, why did you write this book?
Well, I am an extremely empathic person. I have a tendency to feel everything. I feel when people are dealing with things, I can feel the pain of others. And there are a lot of us out here who live that truth. I found myself attracting narcissists,
Mm,
not just in romantic relationships. Well, it was technically it was one romantic relationship, but in work relationships, it was really interesting. Work
wow.
relationships and friendships, because I'm such a giving, feeling, loving, whatever, heart on my sleeve person, um, people tend to want to take advantage of that. And I had one particular experience with someone, and I had to go complete no contact. And I talk about no contact in the book, but I had to go no contact. And when I came out of um, this healing phase, I wanted to talk about it. And I found myself doing a series on Instagram where I took the entire month of February. I believe this was 2018. 2018.
Okay.
I believe it was 2018. I took the entire month of February to teach on narcissism and toxic relationships and things like that. And my inbox was flooded. I
Wow.
didn't expect it.
Wow.
I was praying for people in the comments. People were reaching out to me at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, sharing their personal stories with me, asking me for resources on how to get out. It was very much so like people who were in domestic violence situations
Yes.
with the conversations I was having with people. And it wasn't just women. There
Mm-hmm.
were also men who had dated
Wow.
women who were narcissists or they believed they had the disorder. And I spent like the next few months answering questions, giving resources, sending people information, and it kind of spilled over into Facebook. So it went from Instagram to Facebook, and then it spilled a little over into Twitter. And at some point, it was like, okay, I need to put some of this down. Where everybody can read it. And at the beginning of the year, I had actually started working on a different book. And somewhere in the middle, God said,
Wow.
what did
You're
I
like,
tell you last year?
yeah.
What I told you to do
I
last
love
year.
when he does that about face.
I'm a complete about face. And I had last year, 2019, on June 1st, which is World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. I had
Wow.
never heard of that. I had never heard of that holiday prior to starting this research. But June 1st last year, I did a live on my business page and I talked about narcissism. I talked about the characteristics. I talked about all those terms, red flags, gaslighting, going no contact. I talked about that. It was like about an hour that I spent on live talking about these things. And
Wow.
I knew then I was supposed to write the book, but I kind of, ignored it
Right.
until
Right.
this year when, God told me what I'm really gonna do.
Right.
so so I sat down and I knew that June 1st was coming up again. And it was just a reminder of what God showed me 2 years ago and what he showed me last year. And I really had this, I just had to. It was one of those just had to. So I
Right.
dropped the announcement on the 1st about the book coming, and it will be released on my birthday, which is June 26th, since we won't be celebrating outside.
Right.
I figured I would
Right.
celebrate it with the release. And the title, A Journey Back to Love's Great Design. Love's Great Design was my first book. So I wanted to transition people back to finding out what real love is, what it looks like, what it feels like, um, where it comes from, the roots of it, so that they can find that pathway to healing. So I'll
Yeah.
be, giving some information about that as well.
I love it. I love it. Some really good information. I can't wait. So what are they going to be able to expect from this book? What can a reader, when they pick up this book, what can they expect from beginning to end?
Whew! This book is jammed packed with 10 stories, 10 different stories from survivors of
Mhm.
narcissistic relationships, people that have gotten out.
Wow.
And this is the information. At the start of each chapter, there's a story. And then I go into explaining all those key terms, gaslighting, red flags, all that. I go into all of that. But it's also, it gives you enough godly wisdom. It gives you enough scientific research. It gives you resources at the end. There's a closing prayer. so that you can move to healing, move towards healing. That is the biggest thing. So many of us have gotten out of toxic relationships by the skin of our teeth. And
Yes.
for the most part, we just bury down and keep packing it. We just bury that pain down. We bury those experiences down. We bury all those memories down, and that's where they stay. But we're never really healed from them. And we
Right.
don't. People don't understand. You take that baggage to the next relationship, to the next job, to the next friendship. Your family has to deal with it. It is
Yes.
like an infection that you can't see, but everybody else can see it and smell it, and it's nasty. And you really want to get to the root of that. So this book is getting to the root of that infection, um,
Yeah.
and helping people to move towards really finding healing and not just learning how to move on.
Right. Because that's what we tend to do. We tend to just move on.
Yeah, because we got
Because
things to do.
healing
We
is
got things to
scary.
do.
Healing is scary. You got to look at yourself. You got to look in the mirror. You got to do some real deep stuff and tell some real good truths that a lot of people are not ready to do.
Oh no, absolutely not.
So, we're women. I've been in a narcissistic relationship with someone. So we're women. We talk about women, but are narcissists only men? Can women be narcissists?
Absolutely. I worked for one.
Wow.
I worked
Wow.
for one, and it was a very interesting experience. And I didn't realize it until I got out. I didn't realize it
Wow.
until I left that job. That's what I had been dealing with. It was interesting to see. I know men, I know some brothers who have been in relationships with narcissistic women or who have married them.
Wow.
And hearing those stories, it was very eye opening. This is not a gender issue. It might be predominantly male, but it is not exclusive to men. And
That's
it
good
is
to
not
know. Good.
exclusive to work. It's not exclusive to romantic relationships. We experience narcissism at work, as I stated, in friendships,
Mhm.
in family, with parents, with siblings, and in church.
Wow.
Talk
Yeah.
about ministry. You want to talk about
Yeah.
ministry? That's another, it's
A
another,
whole nother, a whole
another
nother
lie.
one.
That's
Right.
another lie. You want to talk about
A
ministry and
whole
church
nother
hurt?
one. Right. Because the
Most ministry and church hurt is yeah, narcissism. It's
yeah,
pretty much rooted in that. But
yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation. But it's
A
not
whole
just
nother.
romantic relationships. So I want to make sure that enough people who hear about the book, who see the book, know that it's not just that. It ain't lovey dovey. All of this is not. There's some stories in there about friendship. There's some stories in there about bosses. There's some
Mhm.
stories in there about parents.
Yeah. So
It's,
this is so
it's
that people won't just get thinking that, well, this is about, I'm not in that relationship. I don't have a relationship. I'm not
no,
looking for a relationship. No,
no.
if you are alive and breathing,
That's
you
right.
can be, you can be the target of a narcissist.
Yes. Particularly if you are a lover, if you are empathic in any nature, if you are someone who everyone is drawn to, if you're the problem solver, are you the helper and the nurturer? You are the target. Understand that you are the target. And it's unfortunate, but there's a term in the book we call narcissistic supply. You are the supply because you have endless amounts of love and
Right.
joy and light and things to give. You make people feel good. People want to be around you. You are always encouraging folks. You are the biggest cheerleader. You are rooting for your friends. Listen, you are the supply, and they will suck you dry. And
Wow.
end
Wow.
up you end up dealing with a narcissist. That's the first thing they're going to notice is what they can get from you. And most of the time, it is that unlimited, unconditional, want to fix it, want to make it work. I see the good in you and the light in you, and I'm going to love you till you change. And guess what? They won't.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they can't. And,
And
that,
that
and
was going to be the next question I asked you. Like, is it possible to stay and love a narcissist?
well, you can stay in love with anybody you want to. The question is, are you willing to deal with the consequences if they decide there's nothing about them that needs to change? Um, are you willing to deal with the time it takes If they do decide they want to get help and going through counseling and therapy and things like that, because the first thing that's going to have to change is not them, it's you, because you're going to have to change your expectations. The one thing that I did not understand about
Wow,
narcissistic
that's good.
personality disorder prior to my research is that it is not a behavioral characteristic. It is not a character flaw. It is not um, a personality that someone puts on. It's not their persona. It's not. It is a brain abnormality.
Wow.
I'm paused so that sinks in. It is
Wow.
a brain abnormality. This thing is biological. You know, we as believers talk about how everything is spiritual, and that's true. I do believe, you know, there are spirits and different things that follow people, but narcissistic personality disorder, most personality disorders, they are brain abnormalities. This thing is biological. So
Wow.
until you are in counseling and treatment and therapy and you are finding different ways to change the pathways in your brain, you cannot change your behavior. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that people don't understand about this particular disorder. It is
Mm-hmm.
biological.
Wow. Wow.
So
And see,
that's not
that's
to
really
say,
good.
and I believe I misspoke. I did say they can't change or they won't change. It is, it's more than that. It's more than behavior. It's more
Yeah.
than behavior. They cannot
Yeah.
change on their own, is what I
Right.
should have said. They cannot
Right.
change on their own. They need help to see that. And for the most part, if you have someone with NPD, they're not going to therapy for them because they think they want to change. They're going to therapy because you're with them and you have threatened to leave. And in order for them to not deal with the consequence of you leaving, or divorce, or losing their children, or losing their job, they make the decision to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not because they recognize that they're a narcissist and they want to fix their problems. That's not
Right.
it. They're going to therapy because they want to avoid the consequences that come with it.
Mm.
Now,
Wow.
in the process, they find different ways to manage, just like we find ways to manage mental health, mental illness, things like that. They find different ways to manage their disorder, but it's not a cure, it's managing. And at the
Wow.
same time, they won't recognize that. It's not something that they'll see. It's not something that they'll see.
That's really good. So how can somebody protect themselves? You know, when you're a lover, like you say, a person that has this huge heart that wears their heart on their sleeves, and they have this endless amount of love. How does someone protect themselves from somebody that has narcissistic personality disorder? How do you protect yourself from something like this?
Well, the first thing is recognizing the signs, and I talk about a lot of those signs in the book. I will briefly give you something. You
Yeah,
got
just
to
give us two. Just give us two
um,
signs.
I'll give you the first one. If you are coming into a brand new relationship, since we're talking, I see a lot of women on here in the comments. So let's talk about a romantic situation. If you are starting a relationship with someone, um, the term is love bombing.
Mm,
Love bombing, bomb, just like it says, love bombing. Someone who is brand new in your life, it is abnormal for them to lavish you with gifts and presents and time
mm,
and good morning text, good night text, good afternoon text. It is abnormal for you to be receiving flowers and gifts at your job that you didn't even give them a dress for. Um, in the beginning stages of a
okay.
relationship, it is abnormal for someone you meet to all of a sudden want to take you on a lavish trip. You want to go on vacation for the weekend in New York. It is abnormal for for you to spend copious amounts of time with someone that you just met and they can't get enough of you. Those are some things to look like. I see Ray says that sounds like a stalker. It does. Problem is, the problem is we are so excited about flattery and charm
Yeah.
that we tend to be blinded to those things. And it's not always all of a sudden, it's very sneaky. It's very sneaky. You know, when you hear people talk about things going from 0 to 100, 1 week, you know, it's good morning. Hope you have a great day. Be blessed. Be
Uh,
blessed. Have a phenomenal day. And 2 weeks later is, hey, sweetheart, have you had breakfast? I brought you some breakfast. I know you gotta be at work at 7. Um, I hope you don't mind, but I'm outside.
oh.
That might be very flattering, especially if you're hungry, especially
Right.
if you, especially if you're running out the door and you're like, oh my God, he brought me breakfast. Oh my God, and he brought my favorite things. We had
Right.
one conversation about what I like to eat for breakfast, and he brought my favorite things. Or we've never had a conversation about what I like to eat for breakfast. He brought my favorite things because he's been stalking my Facebook page for 3 weeks prior to contacting me. These are,
Oh.
you know, it goes from 0 to 100 really quickly. But sometimes we don't notice those things because we're so used to being mistreated.
Yeah.
We're so used to going without attention. We're so used to being ignored. We're so used to being overlooked that when someone begins to pay an excessive amount of attention to us, oh, that's the Lord. That must be the Lord. This must be him. He must be the one. I see your comment. Yes, we can also confuse that, Lakeisha, with the pursuit, because we've dated, you know, more than one man at this stage in our life. So
Right.
you know what it's like to date one guy who kind of shows you a little bit of attention and calls you every now and then and wants to go out. You dated another guy who calls you a lot or who texts regularly or who, will send messages. Have you dated a guy who sends gifts in the mail even though you didn't give him your address? Have you dated a guy, who shows up at your job to take you to lunch and it was so sweet? Oh my God, and all your coworkers saw it and this
Right. Right.
I didn't tell you where I work. At some point we got to stop and pause and think about these things. There's a
Right.
story, the first story in the book is talks a lot about that. The very first encounter, it's like, I don't remember having this conversation with him. I didn't tell him, my favorite movie. I was talking to her. Oh, he was listening. Well, I didn't tell him what my favorite pizza was. Oh, but I've been posting it on
And see, we
Facebook.
would and we would take that as, oh, he's paying attention.
Oh,
Oh, he's
paying
paying
attention.
so
He
much
did
attention
his
to
research.
me.
He did his research. Oh yes, I'll give him credit because he did his research. So we look at flattery and we look at charm, and on one hand it can be very normal, it can be flattering, and it can feel really good. It can be a positive thing because somebody is paying attention. But at the same time, how much information are you putting out there? One of the things that I do, you talk, huh?
Where does the turn happen? Where does the shift come?
The shift comes when you don't want it.
Mm,
The shift comes when they stop doing it, or you notice you're not the only one they're doing it for. The shift
okay.
comes when
Okay.
you get a good morning message and it's the wrong name on it. The shift,
Mm,
or it's a different name on the flowers than it should be. The
mm,
shift comes when they start referring back to all the things they've done.
really? When they
So
start repeating, telling you
when they
like,
start
you,
reminding you, you should be grateful. I took you on that trip, or I brought breakfast to your job. I sent you flowers. What are you upset about? Because I haven't called you in 2 weeks. Didn't I just send you a gift?
right,
But you disappeared for 2 weeks.
right,
When you start
right.
hearing, well, this is what I did, you should be grateful. You should be glad I spent the weekend with you. I know I've been missing for 3 days. Why are you calling?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I text you. Why do I have to call if I text you? It's a lot of red. Those are red flags. So we talked
Yes.
about love bombing and we talked about red
Yes.
flags, and that's all you're gonna get. But
Okay. Because you got to get the book,
you
honey.
gotta get
You
the
got
book.
to
But
get
that
this book.
but that is typically how a romantic relationship would start. I'll just give you this in regards to a work relationship with an employer. If you are the star of the show, and when you're in the office one-on-one with them, you're the best employee ever. They don't know how they could have ever done this, that ran this company without you. Oh my God, I wish we had the money to give you a raise, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in a group setting, they're taking credit for everything you did, or they don't acknowledge it. They treat you different. They treat you differently in front of the rest of your coworkers than they do when you're having a one-on-one with them. Or once you've gotten recognition from a bigger boss, all of a sudden they have an issue with you, and everything you do is a problem. I'm wondering if there must be something going on. I'm kind of getting the feeling that maybe this isn't the right fit for you. Maybe have you been looking for other employment? I kind of feel like you may have outgrown your time here. No, the problem is I'm gunning for your position.
Right.
and I wasn't even trying to, but now you feel threatened because I'm doing a better job than you.
Right.
It's so much. Or you have coworkers. Tell me you have never had a narcissistic coworker.
I've had a manager like that. Yeah.
It is not uncommon. Or you want to talk about church ministry, same thing. The person that's in charge of the ministry doesn't always have the best ideas. And Lord, if it be you that happens to mention a great idea in the middle of a meeting, and everybody's like, oh my God, why can't we should do it this way. You should be in charge of that. Tell us more. And it wasn't the leader. It wasn't the leader.
Right.
And they can't take credit for your idea when they go into the meeting with the pastor.
Right.
Because someone else heard it.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Y'all got to get this book. I'm telling y'all. I hope y'all sharing this. Please like, comment, share. We want to hear what you guys are saying. Angel was sharing some really good golden nuggets here today. Y'all share. I'm telling y'all. Y'all have heard some people on here that y'all probably never thought were narcissists, which means if you all are just figuring it out, that means probably another 100 people on your page is also trying to figure it out. So please share this. Lisa said, then the spirit of sabotage comes. Yes.
Yes, sabotage. Absolutely.
Yes.
They will sabotage relationships. They will sabotage your job at the expense of their ego.
Yes. And won't care.
And won't care. No empathy whatsoever.
So is this gonna be is this like the book, or is this gonna be a part of a series? I mean, like, how is this? Because on the front of your video, your promo, it talked about different parts. So is this a part of a series? What's going on with that?
It was not intended to be a series.
Or did the spirit just speak to you?
I am just biting my lip in the event that God wants to do what he does again, right? Because I have a tendency to want to do what I do. So in the event that God wants to do something different, I will leave it at that. It was not intended to be a series. A lot of those topics in the promo are addressed in the book. We talk about domestic violence. We talk about workplace relationships. I'm not sure. I don't remember if there's a story about ministry, but it can be because I still got time, But, a lot of those topics are addressed: toxic relationships, narcissistic personalities, all of that. Those things are addressed in there. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a series. The book that I was originally working on at the start of this year was it was a double book of poetry. I'm not gonna give you the title, but it was basically like the lightness, the light side of love and the dark side of love. And the dark side of love had a lot to do with narcissism. And it had a lot to do with those toxic relationships and what it feels like when you're in the right love, or when you're in darkness. So that's what I was working on. So this just kind of turned me not in a completely different direction, but in the direction I should have been going in anyway. So that
Right.
is that. That is that. Love's Great Design itself, which is the title of my first book. It is a program. So it's attached to a workshop. It's attached to a program. It's attached to a podcast, the Message in Three podcast. So anyone who has that book can follow the podcast, and it follows each week. So this journey back to Love's Great Design, whatever the next book is, will also have something about Love's Great Design, because that's my brand. That's my brand, and that's my title.
Yeah.
I am all about healthy relationships. That
Yeah.
is that is my part of my purpose. Is making sure people know that it's possible,
Yeah.
that it is achievable, and that it is the normal. Whatever, these things we've been experiencing, it's not normal. It's very
Yeah.
abnormal. So,
Yeah.
being able to see love for what it is and being able to walk in that, that's what I'm hoping for people who finish reading this book and anything that comes out of my hand.
I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, this is good stuff because we really need to know what this looks like because it can be masked in that pretend. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we've been hurt, we've been in bad relationships. You almost are searching and seeking for that attention, and as soon as you get it, especially when it comes in strong, you're like, "Ooh, this is great," and it's almost kind of like feeding this void that's
That
just going to be
is.
snatched from up out of you in a moment,
Listen,
so
for the
really,
most part, when we talk
yes,
about the flattery and the charm that comes with love bombing in those beginning stages of the relationship, please understand that most of those, they're wearing a mask.
yeah,
You're not seeing the real person. They have not exposed themselves to you yet. And the hope is that you don't see them
right,
until it's too late, until you're already invested in this relationship, and then you're just trying to make it work, or until they've already moved on to the next person.
wow,
Because for a lot of narcissists, it's a game. Relationships are a game to them, and once
wow,
they got you, and they drain you dry, and they move on to the next person, or they keep you because you are an endless supply, and they continue to do whatever they're going to do outside of the relationship.
wow,
But you are an endless supply of whatever it is that they need the most to inflate their ego.
wow,
But that mask, um, and I talk about, here's another term, I talk about mirroring in the book. I mentioned mirroring. Um, Finding somebody who, in a new relationship, who just so happens to love the same coffee you love.
ah,
They love to shop at the same stores as you. They love going to the same places. That's your favorite movie. Oh, that's my favorite movie. That's your favorite song. That's my favorite song. And then it's like, oh my God, we have so much in common. And this is not just in a romantic relationship, but in a friendship as well. You know,
mm-hmm,
um, y'all on PTA, y'all kids playing, the same sport, um,
mm,
hanging out at the same coffee shop, and they latch on because they see something in you that they want. They need it. They want it. They got to have it. And they're gonna do everything they need by any means necessary. They're
wow,
gonna they're gonna inflate their egos, and it has
wow,
nothing to do with you. It's not personal. It's not
wow,
personal at all. It's personal for you. It ain't personal for them.
wow,
You are feeling the need because you are an object. You are not a person. And
of their addiction,
it is true. And like I said, work relationships, ministry as well. I'm reading Ray. I'm reading Ray's comment as, but it is true. Oh, you gonna show it. It is true. Whether you talk about a romantic relationship, work, ministry, or friendships, or
yeah,
even friendships.
yeah,
Um, how many friends have you had where y'all had so much in common and you like, really? You like that too? Oh, okay. And it's like, oh, that's really interesting. If you know me, then my motto is no new friends. Hashtag no
right, right.
friends.
If I didn't know you, it's hard.
No new
I'm telling you,
friends.
adult friendships are hard to come by anyway. So you have to vet them, and if you not come, like I have a new friend, my friend Lakeisha. We just became new friends, and I love her. So
Oh,
brand new friendship. Don't.
oh.
But
You made
I
it in, Lakeisha. You made it in. Oh my goodness. It is so funny, but it is the truth for so many of us who are extremely empathic.
yeah.
It is the truth for so many of us who are very spiritual minded.
Yeah.
Because we attract that. We are light. I understand. And once you understand, and this is why it's so important to know yourself. It is
Mm-hmm.
so important to be mindful of who you are. It is so important to know your character, your flaws, your strengths, your weaknesses. It is so important to know what image it is that you put out there so that people they see your energy or they feel your energy before they even meet you. Knowing that about myself, I know that whether I like people or not, people are going to like me, and people are going to want to talk and introduce themselves, and this is me.
And you like,
Go
yeah.
away. You know,
Right.
those parts. I know that about me.
Oh,
So
thank you,
I have
Ray.
to. Oh, thank you, Ray. But I have to, for that very reason, protect my energy. I have
Absolutely.
to keep my circle tight. And people know. Lakeisha says she feels the same way. No,
Same way about new
hashtag.
friends.
Somebody put that in the comments. Hashtag no new friends.
Hashtag no new
No new
friends.
friends. And I'm just being real because I know who I am. And I
Absolutely.
know what it takes. And one of the biggest and it's not so much um how can I put this? I'll give you an example. Friend of mine today, we were chatting in Messenger. Haven't had a conversation with this person in a while, um, but we're always on Facebook. We see each other all the time, and I had thank you for the hashtag. Um, they've been dealing with something, and because they have been dealing with something, and because they are in my circle of friends, I feel it.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
been feeling the weight of whatever it is they've been dealing with for a couple of months now.
Mm-hmm.
So when they reached out to me today and they mentioned it, it's like I know. I mean, I I've been feeling it. That's why I reached out to you.
Yeah.
That's why I've been trying to reach out back and forth.
Right.
But anybody that's in my circle is privy to me popping up and saying, "So what's going on?"
Right.
Because
Right.
obviously it's something going on because my spirit is distressed. So I
Right.
know there's something going on with you.
Something's
I
wrong.
know there's something going on with you, and whether they decide to share it with me or not, I can feel it. Um,
Yeah.
and I remember at some point last year, I had a pain in my body, and I knew immediately it wasn't my pain, and that was maybe only the second or third time that's happened, in my adulthood that I
Mm-hmm.
recognized it right away. This is not my pain. This is
Mm-hmm.
somebody else's pain, and me asking questions and trying to figure it out. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
sharing that with somebody, and he was like, "Oh, that was my pain. My,
Mm, wow.
you know, my shoulder's been hurting for the last." And I'm like, "Can you take this back?" It was so
Right.
odd,
And other
but
people in the spiritual in the church might call it an intercessor.
call it
That,
call it
that
what
what she
you want.
that what she is, y'all.
Call it what you want, but for me, that is the reason why I keep my circle like this, because I
Yeah.
feel all these things, and because I'm connected to. I don't need to be connected to everybody that
Yeah.
that I come in contact
Yeah.
with, but because the people that I'm truly connected with, um, I'm sending them messages at 2 in the morning, like, "Hey, I know you woke, cause I'm,
Right.
cause I'm woke. Let's talk. What's going on?"
Right. What's going
And
on?
for and if you know me, then I'm also an advocate for suicide prevention. And my
Yeah.
phone never goes off because I am constantly doing that, conducting interventions, talking to people, trying to give them hope when they don't have hope. And that has become one of the hardest things for me at 40 something else.
Yeah.
Because it's like, listen, I don't have uh 2 days to do this.
Right.
you
Right.
know I don't, but I have to make that time because it's something in me that can't turn it off. So, as
Right.
a person who has something in them that can't be turned off, anybody that is looking to take advantage of someone, anybody that is looking to manipulate someone in a relationship, in a friendship, in a partnership, work related, church related, whatever, they're looking for people who are always giving everything they got
Everything they
because
have.
they know it is an endless, unlimited supply of whatever it is they need. So when
Right.
we talk about targets, that is something that makes you a target.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a new relationship without being healed from the last one, it makes you a target. If you are
Yeah.
so anxious to start a new job to get away from the last job you was in because you had so many problems, you're a
Your
target.
target. Yeah.
If you are typically the favorite child, target. You
Wow.
know, are you the baby of the family, or are you the oldest of the family, or are you the black sheep of the family? You
Mm,
know, it's a different type of a target.
right.
Whether it's parental or sibling.
Right.
So many
So much
things.
stuff.
But we were talking about what were we talking about? We were talking about charm and
Right.
flattery. And what was the term that I had
You're
started?
talking. The last thing you were talking about was mirroring.
Mirroring, yes,
Yeah.
mirroring. So when you meet somebody, and we're in the age of social media now, it makes everything very different.
Yeah.
Everything is different now because you put your life on social media,
Oh,
intentionally or not. A lot of the time it's not, but if you check in at Home Run In and it's like, hey, I love it. This is my favorite pizza. Everybody who saw that knows that Home Run In is your favorite place. So if you show up to
right.
somebody's house and Home Run In is there,
Mm-hmm. Right. You thinking that? Oh, they was so special. Oh, they
this your
love
favorite. Really, this your favorite pizza?
me. Right. Mm,
Cause prior to you seeing my page, it was beggars.
right.
Now, now it's getting Home Run In is your favorite pizza. It's just little things. And there's
Right.
and because
Just
they're little things, and it's so
right.
and it's so subtle, and we want to believe the best in people. We want to
Right.
believe that this is not malicious, this is not intentional, this is somebody that's being transparent because you're
Yeah.
transparent. They're being
Yeah.
open with you because you're open with them.
Yeah.
Sharing what they like and what they don't like, and it just happened to be same things you like and don't like. It
And
makes sense.
a lot of times that what, as far as the thing that keeps people holding on, is that they're trying to figure out why. Why is this person doing this if they're not really being real? Like, what is that? So you constantly trying to ask yourself these questions. So what else can we look forward to from Angel Simmons?
This
What else?
book, you look forward to this book when you put when you pre-order. Drop the link.
Like, get this
Drop
book.
the link because
Let me get this book.
I
Get
really
this
want to
book.
answer some questions because I have not been able to keep up with this chat.
Yes.
But here's the link. I was not going to do pre-orders until my birthday, which is June 26th. But because you're here and you're watching, you can do this. You can go here, send a message, and you will be sent an invoice.
And you'll get the first dibs on the book.
And
This
that's
is
it. You'll have
pre-order,
first
and it's only
dibs.
for those watching this, because
It's
she's not putting the link out there. So
nope.
if you got this link, go ahead, write this link down, so that you can go ahead and get your pre-order book, so you can be the first one to brag and say, I got mine.
Yeah.
So you can be able to find out what this whole thing is about, because this is a lot of good information that she's given us in this book. So let's open it up for some questions. Anybody, let's see if we missed some questions over here.
Oh, I missed so much. I'm like, I gotta scroll all the way back up.
So we got,
Oh, it's so far to scroll.
we talked about they can't change. I thought they were just stubborn.
So
What
far.
if you tell them they are because we were just taught by you? What if you tell them they are because we were just taught by you? Oh, okay. What if you go how? Okay, because Lakeisha said at the top, how do you tell someone that they're that they're narcissistic? If you how do you tell someone that?
First of all, that word is a weapon. So
Mm,
understand, I'm gonna let you do that because I can't read and talk at the same time.
right.
That word is a weapon, and it has such a negative connotation in regards to people's behavior versus what we have learned today that it actually is. It is a blockage in communication. So I would never advise starting with telling someone that they're a narcissist or that you believe they have personality disorder. If you want to do your own research, and you can look up those 9 characteristics of someone with the with that particular personality disorder, see if they have 5 of those 9. If they indeed have 5 of those 9, I would approach the conversation with telling them how you feel about the mistreatment.
Mm, okay.
When you're doing any type of couples counseling or coaching, it's always best to start with I statements. I think
Yes.
that's true for communication in any relationship, friendship, partnership, whatever. It's keeping with the I statements. I feel uh,
Mm-hmm.
mistreated because I feel neglected because I feel like uh, whatever,
Because it
however it is that
disarms
you
them.
feel.
It disarms.
It
So when
is.
you're
It does
taking
because
off pointing fingers.
you're talking about how you feel. If they are open to further conversation about that and not defensive about it, if they can own up to their part and whatever it was, um, if this is a relationship, if this is a spousal relationship or a romantic relationship where you are interested in moving it forward or keeping it, then I would always suggest counseling or coaching or therapy for you as a couple.
Okay. If you all have a great relationship story or a product or service that you have, a book, something that would be helpful to relationships, because I am a life and relationship coach, that is what my niche is. I'm dealing with that on Coffee and Coaching at Night. So you may want to be featured and we can talk about your story. Go ahead and email me at letstalk@coachmichelamonè.com. I would love to hear what you have to say, and we can sit down and talk with you too. Thank you so much, Angel Simmons, for joining us tonight and
Thank you for
sharing
having me.
all of this. I am super excited about your book. I can't wait till it comes out. Somebody else, what they say over here? This was good. Thanks, Angel, by
Thank
Lakeisha.
you.
So we thank you so much. We appreciate you. And y'all make sure that y'all get to this link. Let me get this link back up before we go.
Patrice asked a question. I missed that question. She said, "What are the stats on overcoming relationships with a
Yeah,
narcissist?" If there are any. I
yeah,
have
I put
not
that in
seen any
there.
stats, but I think the correct word is managing, not overcoming.
Yeah.
It would be managing. Can you manage living with a narcissist, and can they manage their personality disorder? So we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about that earlier. So it really would be managing the disorder and not overcoming in the relationship.
All right, so y'all, thank you so much, Angel. I love you guys. I love you, Angel. Thanks for coming on out and joining us today. We thank you for being with us and spending this hour and 15 minutes with us. We love you
Woo!
guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.